Hey there, dear viewer. Thank you for clicking on the video and congratulations because you're rare. You're different because you decided to make a skill build on a game where most people run around with the DPS build without understanding how strong and powerful the skill builds are when it comes to endgame content. And this is not just the normal skill build that I'm going to show you with all 6 skills here and stuff like that. No, we have damage, we have survivability and tankiness all at the same time. You can do whatever you want. Like, for example, you can just run around the open world, clear your control points, and heroic difficulty missions with 5 directives enabled. You can also do legendary missions. You can do, legendary summit with directives enabled. Or if you're feeling like you're not an introvert and you want to play with other players, you can matchmake and play with them as well at the same time. This will do all the stuff that you want it to do because it's that good. Now, without any further ado, let me show you what this weird skill build can do. Alright, so this is the build over here, right, as you can see. Now, I usually give you different variants of the build, but today I'm not going to do that. I will say use the way I'm showing you, and it'll perform perfectly. Otherwise, it'll just completely mess up the build. I'll talk about it still, don't worry about it. I know people are curious all the time. But yeah, for the specialization, we're using Technician, because that's just too good for a skill build. You get that extra skill damage, skill tier. You get more damage to like Warhounds and drones and stuff. And also you get that immunity thing when you stay close to your skill. So I mean, you get too much stuff from this. It's hard to beat here. You can also use survival specialization, by the way, if you want that protection from elite. 10% plus also you get the crossbow that can one-shot the Chungo's armor, so that's nice. But I would say just stick with the technician specialization here. Now for the weapon, I chose the capacitor because I have it, but if you don't have it, you don't have to worry about it. Capacitor is too good. It gives you, extra like skill damage. Like you build up the stacks, you get 40 stacks, and you have quite a lot of like skill damage from it. You also get more damage from the weapon. Depends on how many skill tiers you have. Like you get 7.5% weapon damage for every skill tier, so that's pretty good as well. But I would not recommend you to fire the weapon constantly all the time. Just build up 40 stacks, and every 5 seconds just shoot one bullet to keep up the stacks, stop the stacks from falling down basically. Otherwise, I would not recommend to spam the weapon, especially if you're using the ammo hoarder directive. I know I'm doing that, but yeah, I would not recommend that. But hey, someone is pushing you, then you can definitely use it. Otherwise, just get that 40 stacks and just fire one shot at a time, and your skill's just gonna tear your enemies apart. Don't worry about it. Now, if you want to know the other weapon, the secondary weapon, I'm actually using the Harmony here because it's a rifle. I could just use the assault rifle variant of that, but I did not use it because I wanted a different weapon with different ammo, that is, especially for the the ammo hoarder directive. So I wanted 2 different weapons with 2 different ammo basically. But yeah, this also gives you the perfectly in sync talent. So you get 20% skill damage, and if you fire your weapon, you get 40% skill damage. It basically doubles it out, and 40% weapon damage, so that's not bad either. So you can just fire this weapon again every 5 seconds, so you get that extra skill damage and weapon damage at the same time. Now, if you're out of ammo, if you're playing with ammo hoarder directive, then you can use the pistol, which I have the card custom here. You don't need the card custom because it gives you extra skill tier. So right now we're not really using that skill tier because we already have 6 skill tier. So if you're planning on using this weapon as your primary weapon, then you can just add extra armor instead of skill tier on your build, and then you can use this as a primary. But keep in mind, if you swap your weapon, you'll be sitting at 5 skill tier. So don't do that if you're planning on using the other weapons, okay? Only do that if you want to main the card custom. Otherwise, just use the normal pistol and then get yourself like any talent you want. I chose spike talent here because if I stay in cover, I can just land a headshot and I get skill damage 20%. So I don't have to worry about it. You can also use the named weapon from the technician specialization, which gives you perfect spike. So that gives you 25% skill damage. You could absolutely do that as well. Or you can just use instinct talent, run around and just, shoot your enemies with the pistol basically. So you could do that as well. So that was all the weapons. Now let's talk about the gears here. So it looks a little bit weird, but don't worry, it works really well together. So first of all, the mask I have is the Chill Out mask, which is the named Gilligard mask. So we get that 5% total armor, which is nice. More armor means more armor regen and stuff, so which is good. We also have the armor here, blue armor as a core attribute. I rolled it to skill damage here as my attribute, and I have 2 mod slot that I put protection from elites here, 12%. Now I don't have any 13% yet, still, yeah. If you do, then you can put that as well. But yeah, we're using the protection from elite here. Now, so the other 3 pieces, like the brand set that I'm using here, is obviously Empress International. Empress International is still hard to beat here. It's just still too good. I tried to use Murakami, but it wasn't really that effective, to be honest. It was 20% skill damage as well, just like Empress there. I also wanted to use like a Wyvern rare piece and like Hana U2 piece and stuff like that. But honestly, it's just Empress International just still the king, to be honest. We get that 10% of skill efficiency there. That is also skill damage, skill haste, its effect, skill health, all of that combined into one. So yeah, it's just hard to beat. So we got 20% skill damage there. Now for the chess piece style, I'm using kinetic momentum. All you have to do is just be in combat. Just, you have both of your skill active and you get the damage build up slowly. So that's nice. Since we're using drone and turret, it's not that hard to activate kinetic momentum. Otherwise, if you feel like you're struggling with the kinetic momentum activation because of directives and stuff, you can use glass cannon. Yeah, I do recommend the glass cannon, actually. I do recommend glass cannon on a skill build because it's 25% amplified damage. It is a higher damage than the kinetic momentum. Not crazy high, though. Kinetic momentum still catches up, but glass cannon still higher. But yeah, I do recommend using glass cannon. Okay, so that. Now for the stats, I have skill damage, crit damage. I want armor regen here, but I just have crit damage here. So this is the only piece. So I do have protection from elite mods here as well. So that's my chest piece. Now for the holster, I have skill haste, skill damage. Again, if you want armor regen, you can do that as well. Like armor regen, skill damage, for example. Yeah. For the gloves, again, I have skill haste, skill damage there as well. Now, so that's my 3-piece of Empress International. Now, what's the knee pads here? Well, the knee pad is not a gear set or a brand set. It's improvised gear. We have skill tier, armor regen, skill damage, and protection from elite mods. That's the reason why I chose it. You could say that, what if I choose like one piece of, Wyvern wear? That gives me 10% skill damage, right? Yeah, you could do that, but I chose the protection from elite. I really did, because I do run around against in front of elites, and I don't take much damage because I have 60% of protection from elite because of this knee pads. And that's quite a lot of protection from elite, to be honest. Now, if you have 13% of protection from elite mods, you'll be sitting at around 65% protection from elite. That's pretty good, to be honest. And if you use the survivalist specialization, well, you'll have 75%. Yeah, it's a lot of like tankiness with that. Now, for the regen, we'll get it from Memento, and we'll get the damage as well. Like, we'll get skill damage, regen, bonus armor. Memento is just really hard to beat here. There is literally no backpack that can do what Memento does. Like, it's just not there. You could say that Perfect Combined Arms is also going to give you 30% skill damage, but you have to fire your weapon every 3 seconds for that. Where Memento, once active, it's active. It's there. You have 30% skill damage. You got that 3% regen. You have bonus armor. You got extra weapon damage. You get even more damage if you pick up the trophy. So, yeah, it does take time to build up, like 30 kills, yes. But once you do, it's just there, and it's actually way more damage. Like, your build without the Memento is still great damage, but when you pick up the trophies and you build up the Memento stacks, yeah, you're just unbeatable at that point, because you got the regen, you got the damage, you got the bonus armor, and you already have protection from elite, so you don't have to worry about the elites anyway. So overall, it's a great build. So we're using obviously drone and turrets here, but if you want, since we're using technician specialization, you can also use the artificial hive, the purple hive that gives you the juice to ramp up your turret damage like crazy. You could do that, especially if you're using a cool skill directive. So you don't have to worry about, destroying your skill, because even if it is destroyed and has like 1 stack, it still gives you the buff as long as like you have it equipped and not on the field, like on the ground. So yeah, it just works like that. And if I show you my stats, you will see that I do have 60% protection from elite. The Hummer region is not showing here right now because obviously we have Memento. Like, we need to work for Memento to activate it, but yeah, overall it works really good. Like, I can just run around, do whatever I want. Super tanky, crazy damage. You can see how quickly we're shredding through our targets. Anything you make your skill aim, it just shreds. Doesn't matter if it's heroic, doesn't matter if it's legendary. Skill builds are one of the safest builds out there to play. Don't have to worry about running and gunning. You don't have to worry about taking too much damage and dying. Just stay there, let your skill do all the work for you. Maybe drink a cup of coffee while doing that. And yeah, it just destroys everything. Do not get fooled by the lower damage numbers. Even though skill builds show you lower damage number, it still tears your enemies apart. Like, you will see it. It just absolutely destroys them. So if you're playing legendary missions, try and use that. If you're a new player, you may not be familiar with the enemy spawn locations and stuff. That's where skill build will come in really handy. So try it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you want. That helps me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.